Have you ever felt like you've hit rock bottom? Like the entire world is conspiring against you, and there's no way out? Today, we're going to talk about a man who redefined what it means to be at the bottom, and how he clawed his way to the very top. This is the incredible true story of Chris Gardner, the man whose life inspired the movie The Pursuit of Happyness. But his real story is even more raw, more challenging, and ultimately more inspiring than anything you saw on screen. Chris Gardner's early life was far from a fairy tale. Born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, he grew up in poverty without a positive father figure. His childhood was marked by hardship and instability, moving between his mother, foster homes, and relatives. The one constant positive force was his mother, Betty Jean, who instilled in him a powerful belief: you can only depend on yourself. The cavalry ain't coming. This single piece of advice would become the bedrock of his survival. He learned early on that if he wanted something in life, he had to go out and get it himself. No one was going to hand it to him. After a stint in the U.S. Navy, Chris moved to San Francisco and started a family. He was selling medical equipment, specifically bone density scanners. They were a technological marvel, providing a clearer image than standard X-rays, but they were also incredibly expensive. Chris poured his entire life savings into buying these scanners, believing he could make a fortune selling them. The reality was a brutal wake-up call. Scanners were a tough sell, and his income dwindled to almost nothing. Day after day, he'd lug a 40-pound machine around the city, facing rejection after rejection. The financial strain became unbearable. His relationship with his partner fell apart, and he found himself as a single father to his young son, Christopher Jr. And then came the moment that changed everything. One day, walking down the street, feeling the weight of his failures, Chris saw a man step out of a gleaming red Ferrari. Intrigued, Chris walked up to him and asked two simple questions: what do you do, and how do you do it? The man, a stockbroker named Bob Bridges, told him about the world of high finance. A spark ignited in Chris. He saw a path, a potential escape from the life he was living. He wanted that. He wanted to be the guy in the red Ferrari, not for the car itself, but for the freedom and security it represented. Inspired by this chance encounter, Chris decided to pursue a career as a stockbroker. The problem? He had no college degree, no experience, and no connections in the world of finance. But he had something more important: unstoppable determination. He managed to secure an interview for a highly competitive unpaid internship program at the brokerage firm Dean Witter Reynolds. He aced the interview and was promised a spot. He felt a glimmer of hope for the first time in a long time. He went home, packed up his few belongings, and prepared to start his new life. But life had another cruel twist in store. Just before his internship was set to begin, Chris was arrested and jailed for unpaid parking tickets. He spent 10 days in jail, and when he was finally released, he found that his girlfriend had left, taking their son and all their belongings. He had nothing left but the clothes on his back. Showed up for his first day at the internship wearing those same clothes, straight from jail. Can you imagine the courage that took? To walk into a prestigious financial firm smelling of a jail cell, with nothing to his name, and still say, "I'm here to work." The internship was his only shot, but it was unpaid. 6 long months of grueling work with no salary. Out of 20 interns, only one would get the job. Chris was now not only broke, but homeless. With his young son back in his care, they were truly on their own. Each day was a battle for survival. During the day, Chris would be on the phone at Dean Witter, cold calling potential clients. Trying to sound like a successful, confident professional. He had to make 200 calls a day, trying to turn prospects into clients. His colleagues had no idea that when the clock hit 5, his workday wasn't over. Second job began, finding a safe place for him and his son to sleep. They slept wherever they could, in public parks, at bus stations, and sometimes, if they were lucky, they'd get a spot at a local church shelter. But the line for the shelter was long, and they had to be there early. This meant Chris had to pack up his desk and race across town with his son every single afternoon, hoping they'd make it in time. One of the most heart-wrenching parts of his story is them sleeping in a locked public bathroom at a BART station. Chris would lay down his coat for his son, lock the door, and cry silently as people banged on the door outside. unaware of the father and son huddled together inside, just trying to make it through the night. He was a father, trying to protect his son from the harsh reality of their situation, even pretending their life was a game to shield him from the fear and despair. Throughout this entire ordeal, Chris never let his son see him break, never let his circumstances define his effort. He studied relentlessly for his stockbroker's license exam, often by the dim light of the bathroom in the homeless shelter after his son was asleep. He used every spare minute to learn, to grow, and to prepare for the one opportunity that could change their lives. He was fueled by his love for his son and his mother, words echoing in his mind. The cavalry, AI incoming. He was his own cavalry. After 6 months of unimaginable struggle, the day of reckoning arrived. Chris was called into an office with the managing partners. He walked in bracing for the worst, his entire future hanging in the balance. And then they told him the words he had fought so hard to hear. "Welcome to the team. You've got the job." In that moment, all the pain, the hunger, the cold nights, and the humiliation washed away, replaced by an overwhelming sense of relief and victory. He had done it. He had taken the 1 in 20 shot and won. Getting the job was just the beginning. Chris applied the same relentless work ethic that got him through homelessness to his new career. He quickly became a top earner at the firm. In 1987, just a few years after sleeping on a bathroom floor, he founded his own brokerage firm, Gardner Rich & Co., in his Chicago apartment with a $10,000 startup capital. His desk was his dining room table. From those humble beginnings, he built a multi-million-dollar empire. Today, Chris Gardner is a celebrated author, motivational speaker, and philanthropist. He travels the world sharing his story, inspiring millions to believe in themselves and to never, ever give up. His journey teaches us that our circumstances do not have to dictate our destiny. It's about the choices we make when we're at our lowest point. It's about having a vision for your life, even when you can't see the path ahead. Chris Gardner proves that with unwavering perseverance, a powerful why, and the courage to keep going no matter what, you can truly achieve the pursuit of happiness. Thank you so much for watching. If Chris Gardner's story moved you, please hit that like button and share this video with someone who might need a little inspiration today. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.